All right, you and I are about to dive into one of the wildest beastkin love stories ever. It starts with a giant snake who wants to marry a little bunny, leaving her fresh meat every single day. He only smiles when he sees her people take the food. But this never won over the tribe. They even kicked the poor little bunny out of her own home. 2 weeks ago, the great serpent Chi Li fell in love with Nuanuan at first sight. He felt a sudden wild impulse, and he kidnapped her and took her to his cave. To win her heart, he tried everything, even preparing a feast of delicious, aromatic, tender roasted meat. But Nuanuan, faced with his clumsy, passionate affection, she just stood frozen like a statue, staring blankly. This made our sensitive giant reptile super anxious. Oh boy. Did I scare her that badly? Am I a monster? Feeling incredibly guilty like a child who did something bad, Chili sent Nuanuan right back to her tribe. But what he did not know was that fear had not paralyzed her at all. She was just born a bit slow. To win her over during the next 2 weeks, Chili started his unique marriage proposal. Every day he left enough food outside the village to feed her entire tribe. He only left when they took the food thinking they accepted his love. But he never expected that Nuanuan was treated even worse after returning home. Now pay attention, because these rabbits did not just insult her daily, they were absolute monsters to her. They claimed a fool like her deserved to die and kicked her out. Clueless, the poor girl walked blankly toward the river while Chili followed her in secret, watching with deep confusion. But the very next second, Nuanuan jumped straight into the raging river. He wanted to save her, but feared scaring her again. As he hesitated, she climbed out of the water all on her own. Looking at her soaked body, she started dancing excitedly, leaving Chili stunned. He watched from a tree branch, completely baffled. Why was this little bunny dancing after getting wet? No wonder her tribe called her crazy. But he did not know that the original bunny he wanted to protect had actually ended her life by jumping into that river. The girl dancing by the water now was from another world. In her past life, she was so weak she was bedridden. Before passing away, she wished to run and jump freely in her next life, and suddenly, she woke up in Nuanuan's body. She was so happy to be a bunny. What a twist, we even share the same name. Do not worry. I will take great care of the body you left behind. I know what you are thinking, freedom at last. Right, well, our new bunny decides to head back to the tribe using her old memories. Chili followed close behind like a secret guardian. The beast world is dangerous for females who cannot fight. If he had not masked his scent, she, having zero survival skills, would have been kidnapped multiple times by wild beasts. Reaching the village, 2 rabbit beastmen blocked her path. She smiled and ran to greet them, but seeing her approach, they picked up stones and threw them. Stay away, dirty female. Nuanuan took the hits completely shocked. She just stood there in confusion, remembering that this male was Lear, her constant bully. The very same liar who threw the rock spoke with absolute disgust. Why do you not go find your wild beast? You are useless and sterile, just wasting food here. Chili watched from behind a tree, furious they were hurting his bunny. Wasting food, they say. Then who had been eating all the prey he left every single day? Anger started taking over. He wanted to swallow those ungrateful rabbits whole. But unsure of what Nuanuan wanted, he held back his rage to wait. Hearing the insults, she remembered the original Nuanuan was very slow and never loved by her tribe. On top of that, the healer declared her sterile, and they doubted she could ever shift, leading to constant abuse. But she is smart now, they won't reject her, right? Right? So Nuanuan tried to explain, saying she was no longer foolish and could support herself. But to the 2 males, that was the funniest joke ever. It is hilarious that a useless creature like you thinks she can survive alone. Nobody would ever want you. No male would ever accept you. Those were incredibly cruel, humiliating words in this brutal world. After all, only criminals or outcasts ended up selling themselves for scraps of food. Feeling deeply insulted, Nuanuan argued back that the chief and priestess would never allow this. But the chief's son answered with pure arrogance, telling her to go complain and see what they think. So an outraged Nuanuan followed the beastmen to confront them. Meanwhile, Chili, his rage making him grind his teeth, did not intervene. Hiding his scent, he waited in a nearby tree. And trust me, you and I both know this giant serpent's patience is at its absolute limit. Do not miss what is next. Join me on this journey as things unfold. For 2 weeks, he kept his scent hidden, coiled in a tree, terrified of scaring his precious little mate. Let's dive into this wild romance story together. When Chili found out Nuanuan was being bullied, his heart broke. Meanwhile, inside the rabbit tribe Nuanuan told the clan chief everything that had happened. She asked him flat out if he really saw her as a burden. The chief avoided answering, even though he totally did. After years in charge, he knew exactly what to say and what to hide. So he changed the subject, asking Nuan if her head was all right. Yes, I'm not foolish anymore, chief, but you still won't answer me. Am I really a burden to our tribe? Pressed for a clear answer, the chief stayed silent. However, another female walked in and sneered. Of course, you are a burden. We fed you for almost 16 years for free. You cannot even transform. If you could, we would send you to the female lair instead of wasting food on you. And you are so ungrateful. Tuyao walked in, supporting the witch doctor. Seeing her arrive, Lear and Daoki immediately ran to her side, calling out her name. Pay close attention to these massive hypocrites. They fanned over Tuyao, calling Nuan completely ungrateful compared to their favorite female. And do not ever compare me to some cheap female kidnapped by a rogue beast. It disgusts me, she sneered. Tuyao stepped back as if Nuan were trash. Nuan tensed, remembering that this very rejection drove her body's original owner to take her own life. All because a snake beast kidnapped her 2 weeks ago. But inside his cave, that terrifying beast did absolutely nothing to hurt her. He only mumbled some confusing words before sending her back safe and sound. But when she returned, the clan smelled the beast on her and lost it. Nobody asked if she was scared. They just yelled at her for coming back, fearing the snake would track her down. What are we supposed to do then? Since that awful day, the bullying got way worse. They starved her and mocked her constantly, especially the cruel Tuyao, a rabbit girl her own age, who had ruthlessly tormented her since childhood. Nuan tried explaining the truth, but absolutely nobody would listen. Not once. I know you are probably as angry as I am right now. She swore she had no beast marks, but everyone ignored her. Tuyao sneered, saying the snake did not even want to touch her. You cannot even transform, you idiot! I'm not stupid enough, the witch doctor declared. Nuan, stop being so ungrateful. Since you act this way, get out of our tribe. We do not want females like you here. Nuan's eyes welled with tears, realizing the healer was serious, while the sneaky chief pretended to show mercy. A cursed female who brings bad luck must leave immediately. I will only let you go back to your tiny hut right now to gather your belongings. Now get out of here before sunset. If Chili were here, he would mock them with pure disgust. For the past 2 weeks, he hunted tons of meat every day and left it near their border. The prey smelled strongly of snake, so how could they eat it while pretending not to know who caught it? He only wanted his little female to eat well. Sadly, all that hard-earned food was devoured by her abusers, while she literally starved. Following her memories, Nuan walked back toward her small hut. Along the way, every single tribe member ruthlessly insulted her or threw mud and rocks. Hurting her was everyone's favorite daily hobby. Even her home was just a broken tiny old shack where barely anything fit. Only 5 trampled fruits gathered by the body's previous owner remained. It was obvious the tribe members did this on purpose. I cannot waste food, she told herself. Holding back tears, Nuan grabbed 2 clean fruits and left as they kept throwing mud at her back. Stupid rabbit. Get out right now. Do not bring your curse to our tribe. Chili watched his sweet, clean little rabbit, now covered in mud and tears, walk away all alone, holding just 2 tiny fruits. He was absolutely furious, wanting to rip the entire rabbit tribe apart, but fearing for her safety, he chose to follow closely and protect her. After all, he knew very well she could not hide her sweet scent. For the past 2 weeks, any wild beast that dared to target her was immediately eaten by Chili. That was how he kept his little female perfectly safe in this dangerous forest. He did not dare lose sight of her. Reaching a stream, Nuan washed off and looked at her reflection, holding back tears as she comforted herself. It is okay they raised you for 15 years, and that was hard enough. Do not blame them. You can survive on your own now. Show them what you can do. You can run and jump completely free now, after cheering herself up, and that is where we leave it today. Make sure you follow along next time to see her build her brand new home. Come along with me to watch this incredible story where Chili coils up in a tree watching Nuan dig a pit, cover it with leaves, and climb inside. Our snake warrior is deeply worried, but honestly, he's also pretty amused, muttering to herself, before quickly falling asleep. He remembered what a lion once told him, that females are the absolute laziest creatures alive. All they do is eat and sleep while we males have to serve them all day. They can't do anything alone. Looks like it's true. Chili slithered around the pit once, leaving his powerful, intimidating scent all over the place. After checking that no higher-ranking beastmen were near, he calmly headed to the rabbit tribe. By midnight, their chief was trembling uncontrollably inside his hut. He had been sleeping peacefully when a massive snake slithered in. Sensing that terrifying scent, the chief knew exactly what was happening. It was the same smell as the dead prey mysteriously left for their tribe over the last 2 weeks. Suddenly, his clan members were thrown inside one after another. Everyone was shivering in pure terror, barely daring to breathe until the entire clan was finally gathered together. The snake shifted into his imposing human form and walked in. Lord Serpent Beast, how can I serve you? The chief calmed his nerves and spoke up first, mentioning he brought special prey to feed Nuan Yuan. Now, pay close attention here because Chili demands to know why they didn't feed her a single bite and even threw mud at her. The chief's heart completely sank. What prey are you talking about, my lord? My lord, throwing mud is just a harmless little joke among us. Nobody cares about it at all, he stammered, trying to play dumb, silently accusing the warrior of overreacting over a stupid prank. But Chili had zero patience. Every single second spent standing there was a constant danger to his sweet female. Without hesitating, he bit the chief's ear right off. I will give you one last chance. Speak carefully this time. I did not spare your life to hear your pathetic excuses. The chief never imagined this wild beast would mutilate him over a useless, sterile female who couldn't even reproduce. The pain was so agonizing he had no idea how to calm him. Seeing the bloody wound, his son completely forgot his fear. So what if we did not give her food? A worthless parasite like her doesn't deserve to eat. Before he could even finish, Chili's heavy tail slammed him hard against the wall. The chief glared at his idiotic son, swallowed the pain, and bowed. We have another female in our clan, a white rabbit. Her fertility level is outstanding, and she's the exact same age as Nuan Yuan. What if you and I both know what is coming? Will they actually betray her? Hearing him mention Tu Yao, everyone froze. She was their only fertile female. In the last 5 years, she was supposed to marry the chief's son, but now they wanted her to take the fall. The chief shoved the terrified Tu Yao toward the giant snake. My lord, look, she is far more beautiful than Nuan Yuan, that useless thing who can't even transform. Tu Yao, come closer quickly so the great lord can examine you. Tu Yao shook her head in panic, begging the chief. I do not want him to take me. He is a rogue beast, and everyone knows they treat females terribly. Besides, I am highly valuable. How can we hand over our finest female to a wanderer? The chief's expression darkened instantly at her complaints. What absolute nonsense. Our lord is a rank 6 serpent warrior. You will live in luxury. Tu Yao, listen to me closely. The tribe raised you for years. Do not be ungrateful. She never imagined that the cruel jokes she made at Nuan Yuan's expense that very afternoon would come back to bite her. In desperation, she begged for help from the males who always used to chase after her. But as she looked around, they all hung their heads to avoid eye contact. The only one who looked back for 2 agonizing seconds was the chief's son. Tu Yao gasped in relief. Leader! But the moment that coward heard her voice, he quickly looked away with a fake, pitiful expression. Yama, please do not be so stubborn. Do not keep our distinguished guest waiting. He might get very angry. Hearing this, the rest of the cowards immediately agreed. Exactly. Sacrificing yourself to save the entire clan is an amazing deal. He is rank 6. You do not know what is good for you. Learn to be grateful, Yao. We always treated you like royalty. Watching her former suitors hand her over without hesitation out of sheer terror of Chili's power, Tu Yao realized, with bitter regret, that she was now no different from poor Nuan Yuan, whom she had always despised. Wait, no, Nuan Yuan was actually way better off because she had a terrifyingly powerful warrior by her side. Just as Yao reluctantly stepped forward, Chili let out a cold laugh. You people are absolute trash. I have hunted tons of beasts over these past 2 weeks. It is more than enough food to feed your entire filthy clan. I wonder if Nuan Yuan ate even half of that during the 15 years she lived with you. The chief had no idea what he meant. Of course she didn't. So consider all of this Nuan Yuan's parting gift. I will even leave you 2 beast crystals. As of today, she no longer has anything to do with your rabbit tribe. That is where we leave it. What a satisfying way to humble them. Let us dive into this incredible romance, where a powerful leader races to clean a treasure, like his life depends on it. He quickly hides it within his clothes. This massive treasure does not just help a person rise in rank, it also secures essential provisions. This glowing orange crystal can feed a baby rabbit for 2 whole seasons. But Nuan Yuan had no idea Chili had already avenged her. Of course, she simply enjoyed a long, deeply restful sleep. She woke up feeling like a completely brand new rabbit, though she was incredibly hungry. Sitting by the river, she wondered how she would find food. In this beast world, everyone is absolutely gigantic. Even the rodents are her size. What is she supposed to hunt just to fill her stomach right now? As she pondered this, a wild deer crashed into a tree right behind her, and Nuan Nuan spun around to look. Wow, it was completely dead. Are the beasts here really that foolish? No, of course not. She must have unbelievable luck feeling like the chosen one. Proudly, she dragged the deer to the river to prepare it, but staring at the carcass, she had no idea where to start. Meanwhile, Chi Li watched her while hiding in a tree, coiled up like a spiral spring. He was totally confused. To make the death look completely natural, he had spent 3 days brainwashing that deer, but why did she just drag it here and stop? Now pay attention here, because his reaction is pure gold. Why is she just sitting there looking blank? Does she want to die? Even if she was exiled, is it really that bad? Right? She still has him. Does she not? The thought, Chile felt incredibly embarrassed by his own ideas. He shook his head to clear those foolish notions and instead kept watching Nuan Nuan to see what she would do. Suddenly, she stopped spacing out and turned back to the dead deer, trying to bite right through the thick hide with her teeth. That was when Chile realized she had no idea how to dress her prey. Heroic rescue music played in his mind. After hesitating for a second, he decided to reveal himself. With no time to lose, he made a grand entrance, showing off his impressive 10-meter-long snake body. But who could have guessed she was absolutely terrified of that? She took one look at the massive 10-meter serpent and fainted from pure terror. He watched her leap in shock and drop to the ground completely still, which absolutely terrified him. He had heard other beastmen say that some females hate and fear cold-blooded snake men. The timid ones could literally die of shock. Did I scare her to death? Oh my goodness. I should have approached in my human form first. Chile transformed immediately and rushed over in a panic to cradle Nuan Nuan in his arms. You and I can imagine the immense relief he felt, noticing she was still breathing. Thank goodness she only fainted. He decided to bring her to his lair since the shelter she had built was so pitiful he could barely look at it. Fluttering her eyes open, Nuan Nuan woke up to the mouth-watering aroma of roasted meat. Following the scent, she saw a man clad in animal furs roasting meat with his back turned to her. He accidentally burned himself on the flame and groaning softly while shaking his hand. He looked like a viral cooking disaster. But why was he keeping so quiet? Did he not want to wake her? Meanwhile, Chile kept cooking carefully, heard a sound, turned around, and saw the tiny female staring straight at him. His heart immediately skipped a beat, completely unsure of how to behave around her. Panicking, he burned himself again. Cold-blooded snake men usually despise fire, but he heard that females must eat cooked meat. So he cooked all this for her. Are you all right? She asked, stepping closer. Hearing her sweet concern, Chile's ears turned bright red. No, I am fine, Wai-Yasame. Wow, he is quite distant and reserved. Right as she thought he was just the quiet type, but realizing he was harmless, she took a few more steps. As the firelight illuminated his face, she completely froze. Oh my goodness. He is stunning. Chile watched her stare at him, muttering something strange about being handsome, a word he had never once heard before. What did that mean? Was it a compliment or an insult? He was left totally confused. His pupils suddenly slit, revealing the vertical gaze of a cold-blooded predator. Seeing this, she panicked and tumbled to the ground, instantly remembering what happened right before she blacked out. You are that giant black snake. Watching her terror, a wave of profound disappointment and heavy sadness washed over him, leaving a painful ache in his chest. Trying not to frighten her any further, he stood up slowly and backed away several steps to keep a safe distance. Then, pointing toward the cooked meat, he quietly said it was ready. This is for you. I will not hurt you. I will leave. Stay here. You are safe. He almost begged her not to fear him, but swallowed his words instead. She watched him flee, as if running for his life. And that is where you and I leave them today. All right, you and I are diving in as our heroine stares at this cooked meat completely lost in thought. Beastmen usually ate their meat completely raw, but females were delicate and preferred it thoroughly cooked. Did he cook this just for her? Remembering Chi Li burning his hands earlier made her feel incredibly guilty. He was always incredibly sweet to her, yet she feared his snake form. Nuan Nuan tried to gather some courage. This is the beast world, so a snake shouldn't terrify anyone. Besides, his human form is absolute eye candy. And hey, she is literally a talking bunny. Stealing her resolve, she finally made a massive decision. Nuanon dashed out of the cave, yelling at the top of her lungs. Come back, I'm not scared of you. Thanks for cooking for me. Let us eat together. High up in a tree, Chili watched her completely stunned. Did she really not fear him? She was totally bluffing. Her absolute terror from earlier was real, so why claim she wasn't afraid now? And now she's inviting him to dinner. Pay close attention here because he knew females always lie. They love deceiving the males, and once they get exactly what they want, they discard them without mercy. Was this little bunny actually like that? But since he already cooked for her, what was the trick? Actually, Li Shang had already told her she never needed to lie to him. He would provide absolutely anything she desired, no matter the cost, just to stop her from fearing him. Seeing him hesitate, Nuan Nuan tried being friendly and called out, I'm Nuan Nuan, Snake. What is your name? When silence answered, she summoned all her courage and made a threat. If you do not show yourself right now, I will throw this meat away and starve myself. She had no idea where she got the nerve to blackmail him with her life. But knowing how much he cared, she knew it would work. Sure enough, the mighty warrior instantly appeared. I will go back inside and eat with you. Please do not throw it away. Please do not starve yourself. She was being entirely demanding here, yet his guilty expression made it look like he committed the ultimate crime. Come inside then. She hopped straight into his arms, using her cute rabbit form to flirt with this handsome beast. She cuddled up close, completely unaware that his body went rock stiff as his ears blushed bright red. Chili, that is my name. Nuan Nuan nodded happily as they finally headed back into the cave. Nuan Nuan hopped down and Chili immediately deflated. You and I can see how hard these beastmen fall for love, right? Was it really true that females did nothing but lie? Suddenly, a juicy piece of meat appeared right before his eyes. The tiny bunny was clumsily holding the giant chunk of meat in her snout, dragging it over with pure effort. Seeing him freeze, she gave him a gentle nudge with her head. Hey, why aren't you eating? Chili instantly lit up. His sweet little bunny actually cared. Forget those rumors, she was an absolute angel. Even if this tiny portion could never satisfy his massive appetite to him, tasted like the most exquisite delicacy in the entire universe. Watching him eat Nuan Nuan happily began her dinner. You are treating me right. Once I learn to hunt, I will bring you absolute feasts. But Chili remembered she could not even mask her own scent lately. She even slept right under a tree. With a faint smile, he quietly admitted he did not expect much from her vows. Not wanting to discourage his tiny mate, he nodded gently. Meanwhile, she was busy figuring out how to survive here. She had to secure her spot in this perilous world. Having such a healthy body now, she had to push herself. She wanted to earn this amazing second chance. Once dinner ended, she just wanted to collapse onto the floor and rest. Chili watched her with pure warmth, his heart hammering. Steeling himself, he gently lifted her into the cozy straw nest. Do not sleep there. It is far too cold. He turned to head out hunting, but Nuan Nuan saw him leaving and casually asked where he was going. Those simple words made his heart race incredibly fast. Was she actually worried about him? Someone finally cared. About him, Chili Nanan was looking out for him. I am going to find more food still hungry, he explained as she nodded understandingly. Remembering his massive snake form, she knew a simple deer would never be enough. Outside, Chili caught a wild boar. Without wasting time cooking, his thoughts stayed on his adorable soft, fluffy companion waiting back home. So he transformed into his giant snake form and swallowed it completely whole. The poor boar was terrified. After finishing his meal, he headed back. He washed off in the river, fearing she would hate the scent of blood. Trust me, we all need someone as sweet as him picking her favorite fruits. He washed them thoroughly and held them in his arms. Chili was thrilled the entire way back, constantly thinking of his little female, and wondering to himself, trust me, his longing for a home was so deep that he impulsively snatched Nuan Nuan to his cave after falling for a trap set by rogue beasts. But, of course, those beasts ended up half dead from his tail thrashing. Returning to the cave, he found Nuan Nuan lying down obediently on the straw bed where he used to sleep, sprawled out in a very bold posture on her back, with all four paws stretched out. Chili felt his heart absolutely melt at this sight, realizing she truly trusted him. Right? Even as a rogue beast, knowing she relied on a universally disliked snake like him, touched him so deeply that if she asked him to die right now, he would without a single doubt. Desperate to do something. For Nuan Nuan, he took his precious shedskin, grabbed a needle and thread, and started sewing. Do not ask how a rogue snake knows how to sew. Real love makes anything possible. At dawn, the very first thing Nuan Nuan saw upon waking was that massive snakeskin covering her. Terrified, she almost screamed at the top of her lungs, but after slowly calming down, pay attention here, because her logic instantly beat her fear. There is no reason to dread Chili's shed skin when his human form is absolute fire. Who was resting in a corner of the cave, felt the movement and woke up. He saw Nuan Nuan staring intently at the blanket he had hastily sewn for her, and his heart sank anxious that she might hate it. Once her shock faded, she examined the gift. The fabric was incredibly soft, thin, light, and amazingly warm when wrapped around her body. "Did you make this for me?" Chili nodded, but saw the little bunny's eyes turning red as she hid her face behind her long ears. He panicked instantly, frantically asking Nuan Nuan what was wrong. "Are you okay? Hate it. No, I'm totally fine." Nuan Nuan wiped her tears with her paw, embarrassed to cry. "I just feel so deeply touched. That is all. I love your gift. It is the first time anyone has ever given me something, even if it is a snake." Of course, she only thought that last part, so she did not say it out loud. Seeing Nuan Nuan move to tears like this, by the blanket he crafted, his heart completely melted. Helpless, he gently begged her to stop crying, thrilled that she liked it. "It makes me so incredibly happy that you truly love my gift, Nuan Nuan. You make me feel like I have a home, something I have never known." As they kept talking, you probably did not expect this, but the mood got so emotional that they ended up crying in each other's arms. That night, Nuan Nuan not only got snakeskin sheets and blankets, but also a custom bunny pillow. Chili originally wanted to make her clothes, but not knowing what her human form looked like, he had to postpone that plan for now. Ever since sharing those tears, they grew so much closer. That evening, when Nuan Nuan saw him heading to sleep in the corner, she firmly insisted they share the bed. He naturally had absolutely no objections. If he was not terrified, she would hate him. He would have crawled in long ago. Seeing her so determined did not bother him one bit. Instead, a beautiful warmth filled his chest. Was she actually worrying about him? She really cared. Though Nuan Nuan's mind was somewhere else, only a fool would miss the chance to touch that incredible body. "I thought he was cold, a distant, handsome guy, but he was a shy introvert, and a sweetheart starved for affection. How could I not invite my dear consort Chi to warm my bed?" Nuan Nuan stroked his smooth skin and rock-hard abs, thinking how amazing it was to transmigrate into this beast world. "Hey, Nuan Nuan, should I make some clothes for your bunny form, too?" Nuan Nuan pictured herself wrapped in scaly snake skin and could not help but shiver. Seeing her silence, he pushed on without giving up asking what she thought. "Nuan Nuan, just shut up and go to sleep." Late at night, steady breathing filled the air. Chili opened his eyes, unable to sleep because of the burning heat inside his body. After a long while, he sighed softly and caressed the little bunny, sleeping peacefully in his arms. "When will you transform into your human shape?" Nuan Nuan, the most frustrating part was her kissing his abs every single day, teasing him so intensely that he was burning up inside, but never letting him finish. Stick around with me for the next video to see if this cute bunny finally transforms. One day. Get ready, because today we find out if Nuan Nuan, who always teased him before bed, suddenly lost interest. All right, let us watch him gently try to wake her. But touching her made Chili break into a cold sweat. She was burning with fever, and absolute panic gripped his entire soul. He called out desperately, but Nuan Yuan would not wake up. He knew females in this world were incredibly fragile, where a simple fever could be fatal. They could easily lose their lives. He needed a shaman to save her, but only large tribes had them. To make matters worse, Nuan Yuan had been exiled from hers. As a lone wandering beast, his head was spinning. But suddenly he remembered a nearby wolf tribe that actually had a shaman. Hearing Nuan Nuan groan in pain, sheer panic took over, and he bolted straight out of the cave without a single second thought. Poor Chili had been alone since childhood, lacking basic beast world knowledge. That burning body heat actually meant she was going into heat. Desperate, Chili charged into the wolf tribe territory. Seeing the massive snake approach so fast, the wolf sentry let out a loud warning howl. The wolf king Kanglin immediately caught the scent of the rogue snake. He could not understand why an intruder would randomly attack their village. But pay attention here, because anyone brave enough to invade wolf territory was about to face the ultimate wrath of their pack. They had to be a formidable opponent. Kanglin gathered his top warriors and charged down the hill. Meanwhile, Chili was already at the bottom of the mountain, just trying to be friendly and explain his situation. "I came in peace. I only need your shaman." But Taylor, a hot-headed young wolf, instantly leaped at him, calling him a filthy, cunning snake. "You came to trick our shaman, but we will not fall for it." Facing the sudden ambush, Chili reacted purely on instinct and whipped his massive, powerful tail. He seriously injured Taylor, a level 3 warrior, in one single blow. He wanted to apologize, but another wolf lunged with deadly strikes, furiously demanding to know why he was attacking their tribe and why he hurt Taylor. Meanwhile, Kang Lin realized this snake was a level 6 beast far stronger than him. He tensed up completely. Even with his entire pack taking down an opponent this strong was going to be a nightmare. Seeing their fallen comrade, the wolves ignored the danger and lunged at him all at once. Demanding revenge for Taylor, they snarled at the rogue snake to crawl back to his filthy den. Furious insults and deadly attacks rained down on him from every direction. Yet his only real concern was that sweet little rabbit who always called his name so gently. So beautiful. And while thinking of her lying unconscious in the cave, Chili grew incredibly desperate facing these raging wolves. Since talking was clearly useless, he decided to completely change his strategy. He started fighting back, blocking Kanglin's strikes, while cleverly leading the pack toward his cave. Worried they might lose his trail, he held back his strength, only lightly injuring a few wolves. He even let their attacks land, playing the part of a wounded villain desperately trying to escape from them. With the angry pack hot on his heels, he led them right outside the cave and suddenly vanished without a trace. Konglin felt completely humiliated. A rogue snake showing up at night just to injure his people and run away. He had made them run in useless circles. In his mind, he cursed 18 generations of Chili's ancestors. I know what you are thinking, but our snakely does not care about his ancestors being cursed right now. To save Nuan Nuan, they could curse 32 generations for all he cared. Initially, Kanglin planned to pull his pack back, but suddenly a sweet female scent drifted through the air. Unlike our dense snake, Kanglin recognized it immediately. It was the unmistakable scent of a female in heat. He instantly charged toward the cave with his pack following closely. Seeing them run straight for the cave, Chili finally let out a sigh of relief. His plan to bait them had worked, but he had no idea he would regret this night forever, literally handing his beloved female over to another man, right into the claws of that wolf. At the cave entrance, the heavy scent of a snake screamed danger. The warning was clear, but the female's sweet scent pulled him inside. Nuan Nuan was burning up completely unconscious and letting out soft whimpers. Sensing that the fragile female inside was in serious danger, Klunglin did not hesitate and walked in. Hidden inside a hollow tree, Chili watched the wolf enter their home. He felt a murderous rage toward the wolf, but thinking of Nuan Nuan's fever, he barely managed to hold himself back. And that is how the Wolf King's heart started beating wildly, completely falling head over heels for the little rabbit. So stick with me to see how this fierce Wolf King ends up falling for her. Kanglin did not hesitate carrying little Nuan Nuan to the tribal doctor right away. Chief, why is there a tiny female here, boss? Why are her eyes closed, boss? Why are you touching her? You never let any female get this close to you, right? Come along with me as the clan follows Kongling inside, expecting a dangerous reptile, but instead find their leader holding a mysterious girl, sending the whole pack into a whispering frenzy. Kangling felt his head exploding from the noise. She is my destined mate, he said, shocking. Everyone, the Wolf Clan is loyal to one partner for life. Upon finding her, a mystical mark appears on his chest. If she accepts him, he becomes the luckiest wolf alive. But if she rejects him, things turn tragic. Sadly, he will never be able to love anyone else. That is why females adore this loyal clan. But Kangling had never met his destined mate. Who knew this trip would bring him the ultimate gift? Everyone teased the eternal bachelor for finally falling in love, but he did not care. He just wanted the clan doctor to check the unconscious girl. So he transformed into a wolf, picked up Nuan Nuan, and dashed toward the village. Chili, who was tracking the Wolf King, relaxed seeing she was safe. After examining her, the doctor confirmed Nuan Nuan was entering her heat cycle. He looked at her with deep sadness. Let's find out how much this poor girl suffered under that snake beast. Kongling could not stop thinking about the snake's strange behavior. Why would he vanish right outside his own cave? Impossible. A cold-blooded serpent would never be that kind. Either way, the priority was her surviving the transformation. Just then, the doctor noticed she was clutching something. At first, she was curled up so tightly that the tiny object went completely unnoticed by everyone. But as she shifted slightly in her sleep, the mysterious item was naturally revealed to those in the room. Wee frowned and tried to take it away. Why on earth was she clutching a shed snakeskin? But she sensed danger, instantly frowning and clinging to her makeshift pillow with all her remaining strength. She refused to let go. Seeing this, Kongling stopped the doctor, telling her to leave the girl alone. Let her keep it, Grandmother Celia. She sighed, surprised to see him care so deeply for a female. No wonder she is your destined mate. Kongling chose to remain silent. After confirming she had no serious wounds, he carried her back to his own cave. Her small body was burning with fever. She hugged the snakeskin tightly, seeking comfort in his scent. Doesn't it just break your heart how she felt a soft touch and instantly thought of her beloved Chili? Does he already know about my transformation? Will he be happy for me? Kangling gently stroked her rabbit ears as her companion abilities began to awaken. Their bodies cannot handle so much energy, causing them to temporarily lose their memories after transforming. How long this amnesia lasts depends on her recovery. Seeing her suffer, he feared she might forget him. He cared for her day and night without rest until he finally witnessed the exact moment her transformation began. He watched her paws shift into delicate hands and feet, her eyes closed, and her lips sweetly parted. Blushing furiously, he carefully dressed her in a fur skirt he had prepared. He planned to secretly get rid of that annoying snakeskin, but even in her human form, she still would not let go. Nuanuan's sweet pheromones during her transformation were powerful enough to drive poor Kangling completely insane. A female's scent always attracts males, but a destined mate in full transformation is simply irresistible to a wolf. And Kangling was not the only one who smelled it. Every wolf in the tribe immediately caught her fragrance. Even though they knew she belonged to their great leader, they could not resist running to the cave to steal a glance. Just as Kangling tried to disperse the crowd, all the loud commotion ended up waking our little Nuan Nuan. As she stood, she saw a massive tail smash the white wolf against the wall, while a giant 10-meter tongue appeared, making her scream in terror. She backed away in absolute panic. Still clumsy in her new body, she fell as the massive serpent tried to draw close in desperation. It hurts to watch. Chili finally had the one he missed right in front of him, but her beautiful eyes only showed pure terror. Heartbroken and lost, he decided to flee. The giant serpent had vanished. Come along with me next time as we unravel this mysterious romance. The white wolf stood watching Nuan Nuan on the floor. All right, you and I are jumping into a romance that starts with her eyes red and puffy from crying as he rushes to comfort her. Little female, that snake from earlier, is the rogue beast who kidnapped you before. Are you really that afraid of him? Nuan Nuan didn't understand Kangling at all. She only remembered her past life and that mysterious system, but she had absolutely no memory of any kidnapping, even if snakes did terrify her. Seeing her confused look, Kangling tried to make a guess. Maybe the scent you gave off during your transformation attracted him. That wild beast wanted to steal you away. Nuan Nuan just stared at Kangling's exhausted face, staying completely quiet. She decided to be thoughtful and hold back her questions, though she was still deeply confused inside. Why didn't that giant snake actually take her? Besides, she thought she saw tears shining inside the massive golden eyes of that imposing creature. Do snakes even cry? Pay attention here. Kangling anxiously started wiping away her tears, hiding his own panic. But she couldn't stop thinking about that snake. Why did she feel like crying herself just remembering those tearful eyes? This tight ache in her chest made absolutely no sense if they were strangers. Seeing her struggle, he suggested visiting the doctor. Nuan Nuan nodded with a blank stare, her hands reaching out by pure instinct to find something to hold onto. Suddenly, she spotted a snakeskin pillow on the ground. Did it belong to him? Kangling followed her gaze and asked if she wanted to take it along. Grabbing it, Nuan Nuan felt a warmth that felt strangely familiar. So weird, since I'm supposed to be terrified of them. Where did this come from? She asked Kangling. Did you give this to me? The warrior froze. Now he was positive she'd lost her memory. He wanted to tell the truth, but chose to lie instead. Let's pause here. He nodded to seal his lie, and she instantly relaxed, assuming this guy must be her protector. Surely he was her partner, or a very important guardian from her past life. As he led her toward the doctor's cave, Kangling's mind kept racing over everything that had just happened. No wolf from their tribe had died in either clash with that snake. Even the wounded only had minor scratches. This was way too strange for a ruthless rogue beast. We're talking about a level 6 monster capable of wiping out low-ranking warriors in a single second. A terrible gut feeling began to take hold of him. That dangerous beast had never actually kidnapped her. I bet you're suspecting the exact same thing as me. She and that snake were super close before she lost her memories. That's why he brought her to the tribe for medical help. They fought over a misunderstanding, but the reptile never wanted to hurt them. He even remembered questioning Taylor, the warrior who first spotted the creature, to confirm every detail of their encounter. The very first thing that Snake demanded was to see the tribal doctor. Kangling's suspicions were completely dead on. In reality, he had stolen her away from that beast. But he didn't care about using the dirtiest, underhanded tricks to keep her. So what do you think? Can he actually keep her by his side?